Hello, my name is Shirley Self, and I'm here to talk astrology. And tonight I wanted to talk about China. I thought I'd investigate China's horoscope, progressions, solar returns, etc., and see if I could get some clues about the origin of the coronavirus 19 that we are enduring right now. I did the solar return for 2019, and I did the progressions for November of 2019. This is the natal chart of China. They were born on the 1st of October 1949 at 3:15 p.m. in Peking or Beijing, China. This is a moon phase 10. So if you remember anything about a moon phase 10, we'll look at the moon phase 10 here. Here's a moon phase 10. It is one of the rectangle of the self-definition. The moon phase 10 is an iconoclast. Thou shalt not tell them who they are or what they are to do. They define themselves and they know what they're doing. Yeats called moon phase 10 the juggernaut. The creative genius of moon phase 10 is moon phase 20, which is one of the problems that this rectangle has is of not knowing when to quit. Excess. This is really a part of 6 and 20 is a tendency to go too far. They push the boundaries, and we can see that China is pushing the boundaries and has pushed the boundaries to such extent that they are burgeoning now. They have grown so fast, come so far, and I think it has cost them. So anyway, let's look at China. Let me run around this for you. There's 6 degrees Aquarius rising. A moon at 3 Aquarius here, Jupiter at 23 Capricorn, Chiron at 5 Sag, Venus at 19 Scorpio, the South Node at 17 Libra, then Neptune at 15 Libra, Mercury at 13 Libra, the Sun at 8 Libra, Saturn at 13 Virgo, Pluto at 18 Leo, Mars at 15 Leo, Uranus at 5 Cancer, Fortuna here at 1 Gemini, and our North Node here in the second house of money at 17 degrees. So we've got fixed angles here. This is the midheaven, the ascendant, the midheaven, and so fixed angles are the entity tends to be inflexible, uncompromising. And we talk about flexibility has to do with mutable signs. And this chart only has one mutable sign, and it's Saturn. So they're flexible, they're ambitious, and they're flexible in their ambition, but they're not terribly flexible in their actions. So we've got the Sun up here in the 8th house of in Libra, conjunct Mercury, Neptune, and the South Node. 8th house Sun. Since we're looking for some health issue, let's look at the 6th and the 12th house. This is the house of health. Health that you can do something about, and the health you don't seem to have any clue as to what to do about. So this moon rules the house of health. We've got Cancer on that cusp. We've got Uranus in Cancer right on the cusp of that 6th house. That moon and that Uranus are in conjunct, although they are in mutual reception. So they work really well together. In spite of the fact that they are in an inconjunct. And this is 6th house inconjunct, having to do with health. So the thing about this moon and this Uranus is that they are both out of bounds. If a planet or the moon goes beyond 23 degrees and 26 minutes, either north or south declination, they're out of bounds. And an out of bounds planet is, well, like you would expect of an out of bounds planet, they know no bounds. They are freewheelers. They react. You might say they react extreme, and they act extreme. So here ruling the house of health are these two extreme, unstable, irrational, uncommitted planet and moon. This inconjunct here, it does not promote understanding. It does not promote stability or commitment. It's difficult. And then we've got the Uranus is also inconjunct the Chiron. The Chiron is real important in this chart. The Chiron is in Sag, in the 10th house, and because it's in Sag and because it's where it is suspicious of anything foreign. It's afraid of what's outside its own experience. It has an inferiority complex. It is isolating. And that is pretty much true of this Saturn in Virgo there. It also is isolating. It's in the 7th house. It's insecure. And all this Saturn leads, it's the Oriental planet. It is the leader of the sun. And what China really wants is respect. They want respect. And so let's talk about the Chiron. That Chiron is the inconjunct to Uranus, makes it unconventional. He does it his own way, which a moon phase 10 does anyway. It's sextile to the moon, which that Chiron moon connection is really handy because what you can do is it's easy for you to perceive the weakness in other people, the weakness in their stance, the weakness in their attack. So this is very handy Chiron to have. So this Chiron is the Chiron and the moon focus down onto the foot of the Yod here in Uranus and Cancer. And the foot of a Yod has got a Plutonian aspect to it, meaning that there's a lot wrong with it that needs fixed and virtually rehabilitated. So, this Uranus in Cancer, on the cusp of this house, one thinks that okay, this is not the first time China has had an outbreak of a coronavirus. There was one in 2002, also in November of 2002, and it's possible that that one did escape from the lab. I looked at 2002, and it wasn't nearly as, shall I say, interesting as the one I did for 2019. But it did show the danger and the connection to the moon. Mostly what it showed was there was a cluster in the 2002 charts of planets around this, the point of catastrophe up there. That's an Arabian point. I've got several of them here. The point of catastrophe, the part of sickness, the part of treachery, and the part of death. And the Arabian parts take the relationships in the chart, like between two planets, or like between for instance, the chart of catastrophe up here has to do with the relationship between the Sun and Uranus. And so the way you derive the part of catastrophe is you take the ascendant, add Uranus, and subtract the Sun. And so the part of catastrophe ends up right there on in the ninth house at 3 degrees of Scorpio. Notice that that part of catastrophe is trine to the Uranus and square the moon. Over here I did the part of sickness. Now this is 7 degrees Capricorn 41. And the part of sickness is the ascendant plus Saturn. The ascendant plus Mars minus Saturn. So what that is doing is putting the relationship between Mars and Saturn on your timed chart. We've got the part of treachery down here, and the part of treachery is the ascendant plus Neptune minus the Sun. That part of treachery is at 12 Aquarius 48, meaning that it's trine the Mercury here, and kind of opposing the Mars. The part of death is here at 15 Aquarius 25. And the part of death is the ascendant plus the 8th house cusp minus the moon. So all of these parts have been activated. The part of death is in the natal chart is right exactly opposing Mars and trining a Neptune. So it would take some Mars-Neptune kind of action to activate that part of death. And so we actually have a sextile here between Mars and Neptune, meaning that it's really easy to make that slip between the cup and the lip. That Neptune Mercury there, because it's there next to the south node, and I think that gives us the inability of China to tell the truth, to just lay it out the way it is. Let's face it, a dictatorship is lies to the people to keep them under control, and the less information the people have, the more easier it is to control them. So you can see that they've got that. They've got their message under control, meaning no message here. Do not look here. It didn't happen here, but it did happen here. I think it did happen in a lab in China, as I think that the one in 2002 also happened due to an accident in a lab. Oh, there's one other thing I wanted to point out. We've got a between the Chiron here and the Sun, we've got a sextile. And that sextile to the Sun means that extraordinary effort brings great benefits. And that makes me think of what China is doing in the Pacific, is creating islands with great effort, but expanding their territory. Let me show you this on the progressed chart. We've got a moon Pluto here, and I think that they're creating new land. This is in the 4th house of territory, the Chinese territory. Okay, here's what's interesting, among other things. Let's look at this. Here on the IC, we've got 27 Taurus. And here on the ascendant, we've got 6 Aquarius. Here on the ascendant of the progressed chart, we've got 29 Taurus. And here on the midheaven, we've got 7 Aquarius. So virtually what we have is the 4th house has come to the ascendant, and the ascendant has gone to the midheaven. This is a really important year for China, 2019 and 2020. So, again, we have fixed angles. They've still not loosened up and aren't going to. An incredible amount of stubbornness. Here we've got, here's the Uranus. It has managed to progress for a whole degree. It is now at 4 Cancer. And it's opposite this Mercury at 28 Sagittarius. It's a 6-degree opposition. And we've got the South Node and Neptune here on the House of Health. House of Health. You know, Uranus rules experiments. And so I think this was an experiment that didn't go right, but I also think that it was a certain amount of incompetence. Let's look at the Jupiter. Where is Jupiter here? Here is Jupiter 1 and Venus. And that's what they want to do. China wants to grow. They're growing their land, they're growing their business power, and they're growing their dictatorship. Let me see, what else do I want to say about? So they're creating new territory. Okay, we've got Venus here is in this progressed chart is now on the degree of the moon. The moon on the natal chart is at 3 Aquarius. We've got Venus at 4 and Jupiter at 1. So the whole, and this Venus rules the House of Health. I think I already said that. Mars has has conjuncted Saturn in Virgo, saying, be careful. So let's see what happened. On November 24th in 2019, I just looked at the transits. And on November 24th of 2019, the Sun was at 1 degree Sagittarius. 1 degree Sagittarius. We'll put it right up here opposite Fortuna. This is not a good sign. The Moon is conjuncting Mars at 3 Scorpio. We have 3 Scorpio here is the degree of part of catastrophe. Mercury is at 12 Scorpio, square the part of treachery. And also square the Mars. The Venus is conjuncted Jupiter at 27 to 28 degrees Sagittarius. And let's turn the over here. So the Venus and Jupiter are on this secondary progressed Mercury, which is opposing the Uranus. The Uranus was at 3 Taurus, which is opposite the part of catastrophe. Saturn is at 7 Capricorn over here, which is square the Sun. The Neptune is at 15 Pisces. Now let's look at this. 15 Pisces. We've got here the sextile and a yod right there. A yod with a Neptune. And carelessness, oblivion. Maybe they were listening, somebody was listening to hip-hop or something and dropped something. I don't know. So we got Pluto, and Pluto is at 21 Capricorn, conjunct this Jupiter. So the 24th of November 2019, whether that was the accident that happened or when everything came apart for them, I don't know. But it everything here was hit by everything else on the 24th of November in 2019. So what I think is that, yeah, there was a lab accident. And it's not like they're going to tell you about it. And so now we're paying. And the thing was that everything here was hit. Every planet, every point. All the difficult Arabic parts was hit on the 24th of November 2019. So I hope that you're escaping the pandemic. We may have to start wearing masks again if people don't step up and get vaccinated. There's a new variant that's very worrisome. So be careful out there. Be careful out there. Take care of those you love and take care of yourself. And may the goddess bless. Bye-bye.